Hello, you all. Welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, what's good? If you are new, hey boo, I am back with another video. And so we are just gonna hop straight into this video, and y'all see the title, y'all. Let me just say, I got a lot of pre-recorded videos that I have not even really edited yet, but I got my work cut out for me, and I'm probably gonna be busy editing these videos all the way up until Christmas. So y'all just stay tuned. And I got a little bit of a holiday haul for y'all too, so just stay tuned for that. If you got any last minute gift ideas for your family, your friends, your children, just stay tuned for this haul. Okay, I may do it tomorrow. But yeah, with that being said, I just thought about something, a situation that occurred a few years ago around this time. I think it had to be like around, when was it? I think it was November, December. It had to be right before Christmas, y'all. But this situation happened around the time period where I didn't have a car. So I had ended up transferring one of my children to a different school. Now, let me tell y'all the backstory behind this. I told y'all I was gonna give y'all so many different scenarios of jealous women. Now, before we even get into this video, let me just say, y'all know how y'all ever had a particular woman where it seemed as though she was trying to lend a helping hand, but for some odd reason, you just got this inkling feeling that she was kind of secretly enjoying your struggle. So basically, we're gonna get into the backstory. Now, from what I told y'all on my channel a while back, I live in a predominantly white town. So I've had plenty of issues come up with my children to where there was some racial stereotyping going on with my children. And so I don't play that. Okay, I'm one of those parents that will really check somebody within a quickness. If my children come and tell me that they are having a certain situation with a teacher or just anything, you do have a lot of situations to where it's racism within a school administrative system. I can attest to this because I've went through this quite a few times with my children. So basically, it was a situation that happened with one of my children to where I made the decision to take my child out of this school. So I call myself trying to put my child in the school around her own kind. I put her in this predominantly black charter school. Mind you, during this time, I didn't have my car. Before, and I'm finna go real deep with y'all because I had got so many convictions about this school before I enrolled her. Now, I enrolled her around the summertime. You know, kids get out of school that summertime, and I had made the decision that when my child wasn't going to be attending at school no more. Summer, that her last day of school, that was going to be her last day at that school. So I went and enrolled her at this charter school. And the lady at the school, I had already knew her through family members and mutual friends. My daughter had attended a school back then that this woman was affiliated with. So we were already familiar with each other. This was a sister. And let me just say this, okay, before we even get into it, because I gotta lay the groundwork and give y'all the mental picture of this story before I tell it, so y'all can be able to follow me and know where I'm coming from. And let me know in the comments if I was over exaggerating with this story or not. And don't be afraid to share your personal experiences as well. I'm well aware that I'm a black woman, and I'm very much so proud of being a black woman. 100%. Let me just set the tone and say that it is certain women out here that, and I know I'm not tweaking. I know that other women can probably attest and say that it's certain women within the black community that they tend to have something against certain type of black women. Now, this woman was quote unquote pro-black. Okay, all natural sister. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with embracing your naturalness. I have no problem with women like that. But the one thing I have always found is that they have always had an issue with me. Okay? Because I don't walk around with my 4C hair. I don't quote unquote embrace my natural. I have always had somewhat of an underlying kind of issue with these type of women. Now, let me just say, it's not all of them. All of them don't act like this. But this one particular woman, I didn't know that she was like this until I transferred my child to this charter school. Basically what happened was I went to fill out the application. I went to get acquainted with the teachers and the principals and all that stuff. I'm one of the type of parents, I want to try to get to know everybody. You know, I want to let it be known that I'm actively involved in my children's lives. I want to know what's going on. Okay, I want to know how the system is ran and all that, because I don't want to just throw my child off to any old body. Okay, so I'm trying to get to know the school administrative system, and the first day I went there, all type of red flags going off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, and I'm not saying this to be petty or nothing, but y'all remember that movie Friday when I'm trying to get this out, y'all. Let me stop for a minute. Let me gather myself. Y'all remember when Day said to Craig, "Dang, y'all ain't never got two things that match. How y'all gonna have ham but no burger, peanut but no jelly, milk but no cereal?" That's how this school administrative system was, okay? I'm trying to get y'all the mental picture. Hopefully y'all following me. This is how they ran their system.
Like I said before, y'all, I feel like the Lord be putting me in certain situations just so I could come and make a testimony about it. Everything happens for a reason. I'm always taking lessons from these experiences. But I went, and the first day I went, y'all, matter of fact, before I went and registered my daughter at this school, I had a very unsettling dream about this school. I can't really recall every single detail, but I was getting what I felt like a warning from the Lord that was telling me not to enroll my daughter at this school. Even though I felt in the beginning that it was the best decision, and I feel like I really knew these people, that dream kind of had me unsettled for a minute. Like, am I making the right decision? Because the dream just kind of hit me out of left field. First of all, I'm trying to recall what the dream was about, y'all, because it really did. Once the whole situation played out, the dream made sense.
Dreams are spiritual warnings. A lot of things take place in the spirit before it happened in the physical. A lot of times you may feel as though it's a warning from the Lord, because when you have spiritual discernment, you foresee things before they happen. So y'all know how y'all ever had a dream about something and it ended up playing out in the future? That's basically what I'm trying to say.
First of all, let me just say this school was in an odd location. It was not like no normal regular school. It's supposed to be a charter school that they had just started. So basically, they were still trying to get things together, which I was okay with. They was trying to get more students in their school, which I was okay with. I just wanted my daughter to be around her own kind. I wanted her to feel comfortable. When I went to apply her at this school, first day, I say they had, when I walked in.
Okay, y'all, so I had to add this in here because I really had to rethink this story. I don't want to leave no parts out. The first day I went there, I guess this was a grand opening. Y'all ever been to a Black Pride parade, Juneteenth kind of vibes? That's was their grand opening for this school. Okay, I'm trying to give y'all a mental picture. Y'all, that's why I'm going deep into that with details. I know y'all probably like, girl, just get to the point. No, when you telling the story, you gotta give all the details. Just like how you would reading a book, they not gonna leave no details out. They gonna go into depth so that you can get a picture of what's going on. So it was that kind of vibe the first day.
They kind of gave off this whole fake nice kind of energy, but at the same time, they was kind of giving me the cold shoulder in a sense. When I seen the woman, it was just like, y'all know how y'all ever ran into them people where they just give off this fake niceness kind of energy, like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then once you leave out the room, this person is under the assumption that you left. Like, say for instance, you ain't even really leave. You went to the restroom. This person thought you actually left. And when they feel like you left, they drop the whole niceness act. These are the people that they nice in front of your face, but they like really nasty and mean behind closed doors. Okay? These will be the type of teachers that they'll really be nice in front of your face. Like, say for instance, you having a parent-teacher conference, and they real cool and nice, but then once you leave, they yelling at your child, slapping your child up beside the head, all type of nasty behavior. And I don't know why I picked up this spirit off this particular woman, but I had 2 disturbing dreams.
One about the school
And one about her. Okay, so long story short, my daughter ended up going to this school around the fall. Imagine, y'all, I told y'all I didn't have a car around this time, so I was having to
take public transportation.
It was a miscommunication in the beginning because this woman didn't tell me that they didn't have
transportation for the students. Y'all know how y'all kids take the yellow school bus every day, that type of thing.
So I'm under the assumption that this school has a school bus route. And she told me, she was like, oh, we don't have a school bus route. I would have to bring her back and forth to school. I had to think back on it. I'm like, this woman clearly told me that they had transportation for the students. I felt like she miscommunicated things to me. She kind of lied a little bit because, like I said in the beginning, they didn't have too many students at the school because they was just getting their school up and running. So I felt like she lied just to try to get my daughter to come to the school. She knew that I didn't have transportation because I told her this, but she lied about the whole bus thing just to try to get my student enrolled. So that was wrong from the get. I'm sitting up here thinking like, dang, you know, how I'm finna get my daughter back and forth to school every morning. I'm like, okay, public transportation. It really wasn't too far away from where I live, but it still was a stretch because this was around the winter time, you know, with snowing, it's cold. Wisconsin has one of the worst winters. Yeah, when I say it get cold here, it literally get cold, like 0 below type of cold. This is a different type of cold here. So I was literally sitting up here thinking like, dang, how I'm finna get my daughter back and forth to school. I found a way to get her back and forth to school. Okay. But the one thing I was starting to notice about this school, when it comes to jealous women, they do things in a very sneaky, underhandedly kind of way, just like I said in previous videos. But even though these women are different, their characteristics and the way they move is the same. Like, they literally act the same. It does not matter what sort of race they may be, what sort of social background, all that type of stuff. They all operate and move the same. I was just noticing that every time I would drop my daughter off at school, like, it was women that worked at the front desk. Now, let me just say, it was other races of kids that were there too, interracial couples, because it is a lot of that here where I stay. And I could tell that the school administrations had negative views with that, because it was like every time I would come to drop my daughter off at school, they was just always talking about things race related. Oh, we all need to stick together as black folks. It's one thing I have noticed about the quote unquote pro-black community. They act like they have something against people that don't look exactly like them. If they don't have their sort of mindset and beliefs, it's the pro-black community, it's like they kind of cliquey a little bit in a sense.
They be giving off this whole you can't sit with us kind of energy. And for the ones that know what I'm talking about, y'all have experienced this, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
They take issue with people that don't look exactly like them, dress like them.
The whole Afrocentric kind of aesthetic.
They don't have the same beliefs and same opinions, and these will be the type of people that will try to argue up and down about your hair.
Or they're all about pro-black activism, anything having to do with black related issues. And like I said, it's nothing wrong with that. You embrace your blackness. You should care about black issues and how to have better funding for black people, better opportunities, but
come across with this real divisive kind of spirit
and their energy be negative. These will be the type of people that have the need to be right all the time. Everything that they say, they always have to. And I don't know if y'all ever been around these type of people where, and let me just preface this and say this is not all pro-black people, because I've met some really cool people from the pro-black community that they don't act like this, but they be giving out this whole, let me show how much smarter I am than you, because we have been systematically programmed from the slavery days that black people are dumb. So when you come across these type of people, they always coming off with this whole energy of always trying to show how highly intellectual they are, but it be real divisive and negative. They're not coming from a good headspace when you trying to connect with them or converse with them. Basically, the whole intent behind it is they want to show how different they are than you and how y'all are nothing alike. Even though y'all have the same skin tone, y'all are both black. It's annoying being around those type of people.
The way that they was carrying on with me, they weren't really welcoming me at all. I'm trying to give y'all a chance, but y'all not really giving me a chance. We wasn't on an equal footing. I could clearly tell that they had an issue with me for whatever reason. Okay? Now, y'all know from my channel, y'all know how I am. Y'all know I love my wigs. I love my makeup. I love changing up. Just because I wear wigs and makeup, that don't mean that I don't love my natural hair. I'm just a woman that really likes to switch up my style. Through my channel, y'all already can see that I am a girly girl glamour kind of woman. Y'all, I've been like this since I was a little girl. This is a part of who I am. It's a part of my identity. Yes, I know that I'm black. Yes, I know that I have 4C black hair. But I don't hate myself any less because I don't rock it 24/7. I already had my whole era rocking my 4C hair, being quote unquote pro-black, doing the whole twist outs and my fro. I already went through that whole stage and that whole style. I know about all the different natural hairstyles. I had that season already. So clearly I'm not ashamed of my hair. I have some beautiful, extra thick, healthy hair that I have been growing since I was a child. I know how to take care of my hair. My hair is not damaged. I'm not having it up under wigs and weaves because it's damaged. It's just a lot to maintain, and I would rather wear wigs and weaves and grow my hair under it. Trust and believe, when I take that wig and weave off, I have some healthy long hair. I'm not ashamed of my 4C hair, and I'm not ashamed of my blackness because I choose to wear wigs and weaves. I just decided that the glamour girl princess type of look, I like that look better. And I'm not gonna let nobody make me feel bad about how I choose to show up. What I choose to do with my hair is none of your business. I'm not getting down on you about how you choose to show up. So why are you coming at me with this energy as if, and I know y'all ladies can attest to this. Some, not all, okay? Let me just say this loud and clear before y'all get to getting upset. A lot of those pro-black women, they carry themselves in a way as if they are better than their other sisters. They try to play this whole psychological man game when it comes to the issue with hair. They try to paint you out as being the superior one because of how you may appear on the outside. You look like a materialistic, vain kind of person because you do a lot more, okay, when it comes to your upkeep. But some of these pro-black women, they have the most superior, stuck-up attitude. And I promise you, I cannot come and lie about nothing. They are very superior and stuck up, and they try to paint you out to be that type of way. If you don't walk around rocking a fro or a twist out or something like that, they're gonna automatically assume that you insecure, you don't feel that great about yourself, you don't embrace your blackness, and they just kind of treat you as if you are less than in a sense. And they try to always set up these scenarios and situations to where y'all have to have some sort of conflict. Okay, it's always gonna be a situation to where y'all are not seeing eye to eye. And you can tell that it's purposely orchestrated that way because they feel some type of way about the fact that you are just a quote-unquote high-maintenance kind of woman, and you just don't see eye to eye in that way. People have that choice of who they want in their circle. But at the same token time, if you really feel this way about me, why did you extend an invitation of my daughter coming to attend y'all school if you really felt this way about me? That was the whole thing about it. Because like I said in the beginning, she didn't communicate to me the whole transportation issue thing. And I know y'all listen to this like, girl, ain't nobody responsibility. How your child get to and from school, that's your responsibility. I understand that. I know that. But she didn't communicate that to me in the beginning. If I had known that, I would have never enrolled her at the school. Okay? I didn't have no car. So I'm traveling back and forth on a bus in the freezing 0 below cold weather. And these women knew this, her specifically. I felt like they kind of got off on the fact that I didn't have no car at the time. I was kind of struggling. And they used that You know what I'm saying? They kind of fed off of the fact, like, oh, this girl, because it was like the way that they was moving and operating, I could tell that they felt some type of way about me. Okay, every time I would come to either drop my daughter off or pick her up, when it comes to jealous women, you would kind of get this whole thing as though you are being assessed, you being studied. Okay, they look you up and down, you catch them staring at you in a nasty kind of way through your peripheral. But then the minute you look up at them, they, hey, how you doing? It's just that fake stuff. That was what was going on a lot at this school, and it was starting to annoy me because it literally started like the minute I enrolled her at this school. And let me tell you how these women were. When I say that whole pro-black thing, oh, I'm all for the people in my community, I love my brothers and my sister kind of movement, a lot of these sisters out here, they don't be for they people. And I'm just gonna say it straight up like that. They don't like to see certain people within a circle. And I'm just gonna say it like that. They feel some type of way about you. You may be a well-polished kind of woman, a quote-unquote high-maintenance kind of woman. Your appearance is totally different than theirs. And you're gonna feel this underhanded kind of hostility from these women. I embrace my sisters and my brothers. It don't matter how you come in. I have never been one to judge nobody based off of their outwardly appearance. Okay, if you want to be a pro-black sister and you want to rock your fro and your 4C hair, that's what you choose to do. But I'm gonna appear how I want to. Okay? And that was the whole energy and vibe that I was getting from these women at this school. So every day it was some brewing tension between me and them. It was so many days to where I didn't even feel like getting out of bed to even take my daughter to school, because I just knew that I was going to get some type of negative energy coming from them. It just seemed like they was getting off on the fact I was kind of struggling at the time. I didn't have a car, but at the same token time, I've just always been one of them type of women that I always kept myself together. It didn't matter what I was going through, what sort of place I was in my life.
And that was another reason why I wanted to tell this story time and make it a strong point about jealous women, where they will see you going through a struggle, but the fact that you keep yourself together, you don't look like what you're going through, that infuriates them.
They'll be like, oh girl, you look nice today, but then they'll be giving me a stank look at the same time. Okay, so it was 2 women that worked at the front desk. It was always this little thing I used to have to sign her in every day. The woman would always give me a nasty attitude. She wasn't one of them pro-black women.
And let me just say this. When I be giving these story times of my experiences with jealous women, y'all would think that I'm telling this story in a way as to play victim, when really that's not the case. This is me simply pointing out the behavior from these women.
Even though I was going through a stress during this time because I didn't have a car, I still would come up in there every day, y'all, with my hair done, my makeup on. And in the winter time, I was just always one of them type of women that I would have on a nice coat, like a pea coat, trench coat, scarves, hats, all that. I was just dressed down. You know, it's the winter time. I got to bundle up. So I was just always had that look. Y'all know how I am on my channel. So y'all could just kind of get the mental picture of how this story looked. I'm coming in there all dressed up every day, and they probably looking like this ain't got no car. Like, how she coming in here dressed up like this? Certain women, when they look at you from the outside, they kind of make their judgments about you. They assume that you think you better than them, or you think too highly of yourself or something like that, because that was just kind of like how they was treating me. But they was the ones that was really just high and mighty, in my opinion. But it was like every day I would come and pick her up and drop her off. It would just be this nasty, funky kind of energy. If I didn't have a way to get her, because a lot of time I wasn't taking public transportation, I'd be using someone else's car. So it was a couple of days to where I just didn't bring her to school, because during this time I was really trying to figure out the schooling situation. I was actually going to try to transfer her to a different school, because it was like the whole back and forth every morning, the transportation, it was just becoming stressful for me. And then, like I said, it was really cold during that time, y'all, like 0 below weather. I didn't want to take my baby out in that cold weather. That was just all it was. It was a safety thing for me, because it would have been easier for me to get back and forth if I had my car, but because we didn't, it was just like we was literally like on feet. So I just kind of get the sense that they was enjoying the fact that I was struggling a little bit. I had to think back on it. This lady clearly told me that they had school bus to pick the children up. Later on, she's like, oh, I never told you that we had like school buses. We got charter buses. I was just thinking, like, y'all got charter buses? And I just had to think back on it, like, what logical sense do that make? Wouldn't it make sense to have school buses before you have a charter bus? They were trying to give off this whole prestigious, upscale environment.
Again, that high and mighty superior kind of attitude.
But it wasn't matching up. Like, the math is not mathing. A lot of things that they did just didn't make sense. They didn't have enough funding for their school to provide bus transportation for the students. Like I said, you be the type of person that you give people a chance. You giving them 100% full support, but they're not fully accepting of you. It's literally, its entire story is no different than trying to support black businesses. But they giving you nasty energy, but they want you to open your wallet and give them your money. What sense do that make? It makes no sense at all, right? This is how the situation went. She was basically begging me to bring my daughter to their school because they needed more students. And so I'm thinking like, okay, I want my child to be around her own kind. But clearly, there's no welcoming kind of aura in this place. Y'all clearly don't want me here because I look a certain way.
They didn't have a lot of things in order, and they was getting a lot of complaints from the other parents too about how they was running their school. And I think that was another thing to get them irritated. I just feel like a lot of their frustrations came from that, and they were taking it out on me some days. The whole school, it didn't look like yeah, I hate to say this, but it didn't look like a charter school. It just looked like a business building. Like, even the classrooms. I'm so embarrassed to admit this because it's just like, girl, you should have known better than that. You should have took a little bit more time to kind of do some research on some better schools before you just put her in any old school. But this time I was just moving off of my emotions. My child had a nasty racist experience at this school, and so I felt like being around her own kind was going to kind of help the situation. But I ended up getting a rude awakening once again. But it was one of them situations to where your people ain't really there for you like how they proclaim. Okay, if you don't look a certain way, they're not gonna openly welcome you, in a sense. And I'm not saying it's like they should have been kissing my butt and nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, I just felt the cold shoulder from them. This is another thing that stuck out to me. Imagine, y'all, they knew that I didn't have a car, so it was a couple of days to where I kept my daughter home with me, and I was connected to one of the teachers there to where I was kind of like homeschooling her a little bit too, because it had just got so bad to a point, y'all, to where I just thought about homeschooling my child. Even on those days where I would keep her home, they'd be blowing my phone up, calling me, talking about, oh, are you gonna bring your daughter in today? It's just like, girl, it's like 0 below outside. What you think? You know I ain't got no car. You know, even then, I ain't got no shame saying it's okay. Everybody go through their little struggle moment, but I was taking public transportation, using people's cars, and I was taking the Lyft to take my daughter to school. I had 3 alternatives, but it was just like some of them days they was literally calling me, talking about, oh, you're gonna bring her to school today? It's like 10 or 12 below 0. What make you think I'm finna get on a bus in this 0 below weather and bring my daughter to school, and you know I don't have a car? A lot of things they was doing, it was like underhand kind of shade, like, yeah, you need to bring your daughter to school, you ain't got no car, you can get on the bus and be in the cold. You could tell when people be kind of getting off on the fact that you are going through a struggle, and they'll try to act like they lending a helping hand. Let me tell y'all, because I'm not gonna keep this story running for too long. Long story short, I took her up out of this school. Okay, y'all should have already known that was gonna happen. The minute I told them I was about to transfer her to a different school, because I sat down and I had a mature conversation with them, like I wasn't nasty with them or nothing. I'm like, listen, I'm having a transportation issue. I'm not gonna be able to bring her to school every single day. It became a bit of a hassle. Clearly there was miscommunication in the beginning about the bus transportation, and I'm having a change of heart. I think it'd be best for me to just enroll her at a different school. Okay, the minute I said that, now mind you, y'all, throughout this entire story time, I told y'all they hold energy with me. The minute I told them that, oh, you're gonna take her out, oh, this and that, oh, I can provide transportation for you, oh, I can come pick you up, oh, we're like a family here, and they got talking about the Lord and they religious beliefs, you know, stuff like that, that whole fake God complex. Where was this energy when I said that I needed help getting her to and from school? Y'all clearly see that I'm out here struggling. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to put up the pretense of trying to lend a helping hand when really they was getting off on the fact that I was struggling. Okay? That's really all that it was. I'm like,
Why now all of a sudden y'all want to mention that y'all got transportation? They clearly had got to a point where they said, they was like, oh, we got charter buses here, we can have someone come. Oh, but then she turned around and changed and said, oh, well, the charter buses is for the athletes. And, oh, well, I can get such and such to come pick you up. She lived right there by you. You said you live here, right? Oh, somebody's, it's just like, no, she coming up out of the school. I'm transferring her into a different school. And that's that. It was just like they was trying to do anything they could to keep. And remember, I told y'all in the beginning, they was desperate for students. They needed more people at their school to keep their funding going, to keep their school up and running. I should have read the reviews on this school before I enrolled her in it, which I didn't. That was my mistake. Okay, like I said, I was in a desperate situation. I wanted her up out of this particular school, and I learned my lesson. They had all the help for me when I said I was about to take her out. Coming with that fake energy. I had another school that I was gonna enroll her in. Filled out the paperwork, talked to the school administrative system, got acquainted with them. My daughter was gonna be going to this school, whether they liked it or not. They tried to give me an issue with enrolling her up out of the school, y'all. They literally thought I was gonna keep her there. I was like, no, like y'all don't, it's becoming a struggle for me to get her back and forth to school every day.
It's conflicting with my schedule with everything else I have going on.
I was like, this is a nice school. They had a lot of things I feel like they needed to improve on. It was some positives. I ain't gonna sit up here and just drag them like that, but they literally was trying to keep my daughter at the school. They had all the help for me in the world after I told them I was gonna take her out. But where was this help when I really needed it? Nowhere to be found. Y'all got off on the fact that I didn't have a car and I was traveling back and forth in the freezing cold weather with my child. Y'all didn't think to want to lend a helping hand in that moment. So now that I'm taking her out, why y'all got all this help for me all of a sudden?
That's why I shared in my series about jealous women, where a lot of them, you are going to spot the jealousy when they are in a position to help you and they choose not to do so. They have all the means to help you, but because they are jealous of you, they're not going to help you out. In no sort of way, they're going to sit back and watch you suffer. Their nature is very savage and ruthless. They took pleasure in seeing me down. That was the takeaway from this entire story time. Yes, I know it was my responsibility for my child's transportation, but this is the bigger message behind it. These jealous women took pleasure in seeing me at a low point. They was looking down their noses at me as if they were better than me, and they took pleasure in keeping their foot on my neck. That's basically what I took from this entire situation. The spiritual attacks that I was getting from these jealous women. Pro-black, all about your community and your sisters and brothers. Putting up this fake facade. They are no different than them overly religious fake Christians. They are no different. That whole pro-black thing is a facade with a lot of our sisters and brothers. That let me know right out the gate that they were some jealous women and they was moving real sneaky and snaky like. And let me just say this, because I know y'all probably sitting back thinking like, girl, I don't even know how you did it for that long. Waking up early in the morning, taking my baby to school. I'm all about my kids' education. I don't play about stuff like that, okay? So if I gotta travel in the freezing cold with my child just so she can have a better education, then so be it. But these women literally played in my face and had a good old happy of a jolly time while doing it. I use this story time to speak my truth and take a stand for myself. That's another part of why I chose to make jealousy an important series on my channel to talk about. Y'all take a stand for yourself against these jealous, spirited, envious kind of women. Share your experiences, share your stories, give your testimonies. That's you taking a stand for yourself. Taking a stand against evil. I'm gonna always speak out against wrong behavior. I literally rode past this school several times. The building still look the same. There's no improvements that have been made. That's what happened when you treat people a certain way. You're gonna get the brunt. You're gonna have the consequences behind doing people wrong. Trust and believe. And I have heard about people transferring their children out of the school left and right. When you don't know how to treat people, that's gonna come back on you tenfold. The way they did me was so wrong, and I would never forget that. They was literally calling me every day, talking about such and such said that she could come pick you up, and this person can come pick you. I'm not finna be car hopping. I just told you I'm finna enroll her at a different school. That's the end of the story. Y'all done had y'all fun and y'all fulfillment watching me struggle. I had that unsettling dream about the school before I enrolled her in it. I should have took that as a warning to not
take her there. I don't know why I didn't follow through with it, y'all, but y'all know that I have shared with y'all on my channel plenty of times that your dreams have meaning behind it. And so it just all ended up coming to surface. Then they tried to pull the whole card of, oh, we need to stick together. Oh, you want to put her in that school? When I transferred her to the school, I told them why I transferred her out of the other school. I'm coming here thinking that we're going to have some sort of unity, but clearly I'm not welcome to either. So I'm going to take my daughter out of this school and I'm going to enroll her somewhere else.
And it was just like the way they played the whole white and black card. Oh, you gonna enroll her back around a whole bunch of white racist folks. That's the whole thing they tried to pull me with. Try to use that whole manipulation tactic like I'm slow or something. You're not finna play the whole black-white thing with me, because clearly y'all not welcoming me here either. This whole pro-black, all for the people type of energy that y'all be faking and giving off, y'all don't really be for y'all people like that. And I could tell they was embarrassed by the way that I called out their behavior, because I called it out. I'm gonna always call a fake person out. Called them out on their behavior and they was embarrassed bad. So they tried to pull the whole, oh, we gotta stick together. You don't want to enroll her at no school. She gonna go through the same thing, the same racial issues. They wasn't like this with her. Okay, she a child, she innocent. She don't got nothing to do with the situation.
My baby is a chocolate little Barbie. Okay, I kept my baby together. Her hair was always done. It's like I told you, I went through my whole natural hair era. That's how I was with my daughter. I did all the natural hairstyles. It's either she had the natural hairstyles or she had braids. Okay, my daughter was well kept. Had the best snow boots, snow suits. She wasn't never going to come to school looking a hot mess.
And they always gave me compliments on how I kept my daughter dressed and her hair. They were very welcoming and embracing my child, which I can't give them that. But you throwing off your negative energy to me as if you got an issue with me. You ain't no different than the racist white folks. You ain't no different. That whole pro-black thing, all for the people, all of that is a whole bunch of BS.
And it was just so crazy how that situation ended, child, because it was like every time I would come and pick her up, this was after I told them that she was going to be going to a different school. They had this fake nice kind of energy with me. One of the women there that was extremely fake. Even though all of this was going on, I still was coming in there like how I am. My hair done, my makeup. She was like, girl, where you going? So that's a hater, a jealous woman #1 phrase she used. Whenever she see a woman that's done up, she always want to ask you where you going. She ain't going nowhere. I'm here. I'm bringing my daughter to school. What you mean? You look real nice today. And just that real fake stuff. And then she asked me one day, did I get my butt done? And just stuff like that. They was another thing about them that was unsettling to me, is that they was kind of unprofessional. Remember I told y'all in the beginning that the school was in an odd location. I was in the wintertime, so we got all type of snow and ice outside. Like I literally fell and bust my stuff on the ice a few times. And I'm not embarrassed about nothing. Like looking back on the situation, I can clearly laugh at it and say that I learned my lesson. But it was just like a couple of times I was walking my daughter to school. My daughter was good. On my way walking there and walking back, I'd be slipping on the ice because, like I said, they're in an odd location. They not bad the street where the plow trucks could come through and plow the snow and the ice. So it's just like I'm slipping and sliding all over the place like I'm at an ice skating rink or something. Like, yeah. That stuff wasn't funny then, but it's funny now thinking back on it. Like, these girls clearly got off on the fact that I was going through a struggle. When I say it was like cameras all around this building, yeah, because the school, it didn't look like no regular school. It literally looked like an office building. And they just put the school name on the front. Like, it was just a lot of things wrong with this situation, this story. But I could clearly see them, like, right now, watching the cameras, watching me walking her to and from school, watching me slip and fall on my face and just laughing. You know how you could sense when somebody just kind of watching you and monitoring you? You can literally look around the building. You can see that it's surveillance cameras, so you know who coming and going. Y'all really got off on the fact that I did not have a car and I was just out here struggling on my feet. That's how jealous women are, though.
That was just another experience that I really just thought about, that I feel like y'all would enjoy, that I would wanted to share with y'all. And another thing too, they kept doing, they was being extremely nosy, trying to get all up in my personal business and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how jealous women are. They would try to lead on as if they're trying to help you out, when really they're getting enjoyment out of watching you struggle. Okay, they would literally watch you struggle and go through pain. They won't help you in no sort of way. Even when they have the means to help you, they won't do it. Not just thinking back on it, y'all, it's other situations like this to where I have encountered these type of jealous women to where I was in a hopeless situation. I was really just going through it, and they were trying to put up a pretense of trying to help me out when really they were just enjoying it. Stay away from women like that. Don't do business with women like that. Don't be friend women like that. Just stay away from them altogether. Okay? Hopefully I got something from this video. Hopefully it helped you in some way. Continue to protect your soul and spirit, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.